Yo, Tube, what's good? So for Arcane Mage, just a little introduction. Basically all that's happening to the spec is you picked up Nether Flux. So I'm sure you guys have seen the clips with Arcane. It's going a little insane right now with Flux. People are just pressing this button and then they're just pressing missiles and barrage and then someone dies. So I'm going to break down a little bit why that happens, and then I'm going to break down a little bit what we're going to be doing now that the new season's out with Arcane Mage. So first thing you have to know about Nether Flux is 15-second cooldown. That's the most broken part about it. This is just going to give you kill pressure every 15 seconds in theory. So that's pretty good. It's a good talent. Now, that's going to require you to set it up in a particular way. That's not impossible to do. I'm just saying right now, the reason it's so annoying to fight and why it's so OP is because of the 4-set here. And that's the last season's 4-set. So I think people might play this on week 1, maybe even like a couple weeks in, which is going to be really frustrating. But whenever you lose this tier set, it does feel a lot harder to like use it correctly. Because here's how it is right now. The other attunement missile is a missile that does 100% increased damage and makes it AoE, and your 4-set makes it to where whenever you press Nether Flux, you gain 3 stacks towards Ether, and that's all you need, right? So right now, what you do is you literally just press it, you get the purple missile. That's like my weak aura for it. You know, if you see the purple missile, that's big damn. And yeah, you press it with the debuff, and then you barrage, and it's that's enough most of the time to like kill something. So the thing that's changing with the release of the new season, right, is that this for one, the damage itself is a lot lower. So it's not 125%. I think it's like 65% now. But the other thing I was going to mention about it is it operates under something called snapshot. So snapshot is basically like whenever there is a buff present, if you press another button while that buff is still present, it will carry the effects of that buff with it in a sense. So what that could mean, what that could look like is in, for example, Mists of Pandaria, whenever you have Alter Time, it's, or sorry, that's a bad example. Whenever you have Living Bomb, and your on-use procs and your intellect procs and all of your DPS trinkets and stuff. When you apply Living Bomb, it will snapshot all of those DPS increases into the spell itself. Something similar here happens with Flux. So it's a buff that exists on the target when you press it, right here. So while you're missiling, it doesn't actually remove the buff, so you can cancel it a second early to barrage twice into the remaining Nether Flux buff. So this is like a pretty good thing to know how to do. Additionally, what I'll show you guys is how to use Flux now without that tier set, which is, you know, you're not going to have that other attunement missiles, and you need that other attunement missiles every time. So you need to track this buff, Nether attunement, and basically you just need to spend 3 clear castings, and then once you get it, that allows you and enables you to press Flux. Then you modify the other attunement missiles with that, cut it a little early, and get 2 barrages in there before the Flux buff ends. So obviously when you have all your modifiers and stuff up, keep in mind Evo gives you a clear casting, Surge gives you a clear casting, so now you have 2, right? But you need 1 more. So you kind of just need to fish for like 1 more, because whenever you get to 3 right here, you need a missiles proc now to press other, or sorry, Nether. So you do that, and then you can go. And then snapshot the 2 barrages after. Additionally, what I like to do with the snapshot mechanic is use Palm. The reason why is because you're playing Magi Spark. This ability is like, it looks all weird and complicated, but really what it is whenever you Flux, the next missiles, the next barrage, and the next blast echo for a certain % of their damage. So it basically just makes them do like a bit more damage. I think it is not actually 100%. We can see like PvP modifiers and stuff here. I know this is kind of like a lot of work, but I'm gonna try to do it really quickly. Boom. And then it was called what? Oh yeah, Magi Spark. So it's 25% effective in PvP. So it is 25% of the damage of the blast, the barrage, and the missiles. But the reason I think using the blast part of it is good is because it also does the explosion. So that part at the end. So if you want to just use your flux, right, you need to get to an Ether attunement, right? So you need to do that, and then you additionally need another clear casting. Because when you press flux, oh, actually, does it give you a clear casting? It might. I don't know. Oh no, I'm wearing the tier, right? Okay. I was wondering why it felt like that. Here, let me try to take this off. Whenever I leave combat. My Phoenix is going crazy though. Okay. Here we go. Alright, so yeah. You want this other attunement buff. Then you'll press flux. Then you will press missiles. Got it a little early. Barrage. And then keep in mind, right there, you saw that I couldn't do the palm blast efficiently because when I threw my barrage, I had 0 arcane charges. So my blast did a 1 charge arcane blast, which is not better than a second barrage. So that's why I only do that palm blast one whenever I have an intuition proc. And you can see I'll try to manifest that scenario. It's a god scenario for sure. Like you want it to happen. I'm just kind of keeping my other and just waiting for a proc basically. Yeah, so whenever I'm in this situation where I have that, then I'll do it, throw the barrage, and then palm blast it. And it's like kind of like this all like big hit, super satisfying. And then obviously you would want to do that with all your modifiers and stuff. But yeah, that's like the introduction to Arcane for the new season. It's pretty much all that's new. So I guess I could try to do it one more time for you guys. So you want to get your Evo at the start if you can or whatever. And then consume clear castings as you get them. Barrage a little bit. Keep in mind you're not going to have like too many Spellfire spheres on this first one. So you're either... when you walk in, you can either not get combat right away to build up the spheres like this. So like, you know, you walk in on your horse, you see you just start generating these kind of just like every 8 seconds while you're out of combat. You could potentially sit here and just like let these build up for a sec before you engage. That's very good to do in my opinion. And then yeah, once you get your Evo up and you get your surge rolling, you can kind of just like start missiling, barrage into more missiles, orb here into, you know, more barrages. And this is like the situation you're going to find yourself in on Arcane if you don't set up your goes properly, right? Like my whole surge is just going, but I can't get that other attunement proc, right? So that's going to be a situation that you guys need to try to avoid on Arcane. So that's why it's very important that you don't just walk in and press Arcane Surge first global. You kind of need to like, you know, at least get something first, in my opinion. You can send that first surge. I don't think it's like the worst thing to do ever. As long as it's a surge that, you know, you write it off as, I'm just getting my first surge done with, so I can start working on the Spellfire spheres for my second surge. That might have got a little too complicated. I don't know, whatever. But yeah, I mean, if you like don't have an Ether too, I swear it's probably not like the worst thing in the entire world to like if you're really far away from another, like let's say you're kind of like in this spot, I guess, and you have like no procs and like you do want to just surge here. I feel like it's probably not the worst thing in the world to just use it on like a intuition right there and just get like a fat barrage too. So I don't think it has to be like only on the missiles. I just think it's like really ideal if you can do it, right? And then like see, you can hold that one for right here. Oh my god, and then look at that. The best possible damage scenario just landed in my lap right there. And I was able to fit 2 fluxes in on my surge rather than just like sitting there and holding it. But I probably should have held that ether. Unless I can get to it here. Boom. Yeah, kind of. So yeah, that's kind of the idea with Arcane. And then that's about it. Yep. Just run these talents. I think the other discussion I wanted to have with Arcane, it's kind of a short one, but Barrage is just such an amazing button on Arcane that it almost feels like too much value. Like you're losing too much value to not run Chrono Shift. So in my opinion, this is like a pretty good like solo build, you know? And then you can add Ice Wall, I think, in situations where I guess you might need it. So like either arena, maybe into, you know, if you're playing a certain comp, you don't need it. Or if you're playing into a certain comp, you don't need it. I think you just run this. I'm not really sure yet on that. I think this is definitely like the best solo feeling build. And there's a couple comps, whereas Arcane Mage, you kind of just play like that. Like you just kind of play solo and try like one-shot stuff with your big Sun Fury. Surge. But Ice Wall is also a really good win condition, so it's hard for me to say, but that's kind of like where my head is at. It's like, man, this ability is so much value. And if you don't play Chrono Shift, you don't have a slow outside of slow itself. So you actually need to press this ability if you're going to drop shift, because you're never going to snare the target you're attacking if you don't. And not having a snare target is like a lot worse. It's very hard to maintain it on 3 targets, as you can see. I can't really maintain it on everyone and do my damage rotation like that cleanly. Like using a slow there, it felt terrible like while I'm bursting. So it's not going to be perfect. Like it won't keep them permanently snared, but you need to be better at pressing it whenever like the class that you're playing with isn't on the target that you need slowed. Like if I'm attacking this guy, like I don't really need to slow him, but if there's like a warrior like on my ass, you know, like you gotta incorporate slow, not as the first one, but like as a, you know, blast wave maybe like when he's on you, and then if he like gets back to you, you know, you have options here as well. You have like supernova and like alter shimmer and stuff. But like when you do these alter shimmers, maybe that's like a decent global to fit it in, to slow the guy, right? Because you don't want him to be able to just full speed walk to your location and force you to alter back early. These are all things that you kind of have to think about when you lose Chrono. Which is why I'm like, you know, I could also just have Barrage and not have to worry about any of that. But yeah, I don't know. It's up to you, I think. Like Ice Wall or Chrono Shift. It's kind of like a playstyle thing to me. But anyways, that's all for Arcane. Good luck in the season, and yeah, type shit.